Oh, you got it.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so would you like me to start?
Real quick, because I'm just waiting for Miss Mohamed to finish talking with one of the parents. And I have one more parent coming in, so I'm just giving her just a few more minutes. If Mr. Sandor could very quickly, along with Miss Attwood, discuss our finances,
Sure.
and then we'll go right into the elections,
Would you like me to start?
please.
Is that what?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure. Okay, let me share my screen really briefly because this will be very, very quick. Okay, wonderful. All right, so on the screen here, we have the April 2021 Treasurer's Report, our beginning balance as of, actually, this should be March. Sorry, this actually should be March 1st. My mistake, I apologize. As of March 1st, $1,049.29. During the period, there were no expenses, but during that period, we actually raised $79 from contributions and dues via our new Cheddar Up system. And at the end of the month, we had a balance of $1,078.29. In the past meeting, we indicated that we've used the Cheddar Up system for dues. To date, we've collected, I believe, $129, of which $79 was received this past month. And that is the Treasurer's Report.
I just wanted to say that we finally we have a bank account that allows us to receive the dues online with the help of an app called Cheddar Up. The money that you pay for the dues through that online payment system goes directly into the PTA banking account. And we'll be posting the link in the chat so that if you can make a donation, we usually ask for $5, but of course, if you feel generous, it's not an obligation, but if you feel more generous, by all means, we definitely can use some funds. We have a big plan to give Spirit Awards to students in all grades to recognize the tremendous effort that they made this year. So anything that you contribute will enable us to set up those awards to the students. Thank you. Mr. Sandor, do you want to add anything or?
No, I think that's
All
accurate.
Right. Are there any questions from any parent or teacher, anyone? Questions on the Treasurer's Report?
Hi.
All right, we can move on.
I do have a question.
Yep.
Thank you. I was just curious if you're planning to maybe have a little bit of a balance to get started for next year.
Yes. In fact, our plan, I mean, we just had that discussion. We would like to leave at least $450 in the account for the beginning of year in September, so that you're not starting at zero. That is our plan.
Thank you.
Of course.
Mr. Robinson and the executive board, may I share the plan that we have for the new awardees that we're thinking about?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Can I get a thumbs up from the executive board? Yep. Okay. So we have about, we are thinking about, we would like to have a balance of $450. Prior to that, I think we're going to have at least 200 play money, I think we said. It's 125 play money before we get to the 450, which we are going to use towards additional awards for the 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. We have Hope Awards that we give to 2 seniors of $50. What we would like to do is to give to the 9th, 10th, and 11th grade $25 gift cards, 2 students from each grade. And that will be awarded, we wait for the school to provide us the names, and then it will be awarded sometime in June. Am I correct, Mr. Robinson?
Yes, that's right. During the Academy Awards.
Okay. We're still working on what the, oh gosh, I just went blank on this. I'm so sorry. What the final outcome will be on how the, how those students will be chosen. But we are going to be going towards the primary goals of what Abraham Lincoln is. And one of them being towards grit and, oh gosh, somebody said another word this afternoon.
Resilience.
Grit and resilience. We'll have more details of that in May, and the names will be again announced in June during the award ceremony. So just give us time, but we will provide more details of how that will be presented once the executive board, as well as Mr. Robinson and Ms. Mohamed, we finalize a few things. But we are very happy to say that we will be giving out $25 gift cards to 2 students in each grade, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And then, of course, the Hope Award of $50 to 2 seniors. And the Hope Award is done every year. This Grit and Resilience Award will be a new one that we will be providing. We figured that the students have worked really, really hard, and we want to thank them. We thanked the teachers last month, and we feel that we want to thank give a little extra to the students. Executive Board, do you have anything else to say about that before we move on?
I just wanted to mention that we put a link to the Cheddar Up page that we use for contributions. You are welcome, of course, to submit dues or make a contribution. Any contributions are gratefully accepted, of course, and the link is in the chat. So, thank you.
Okay, and double checking, we are recording and have been since approximately 6:15. So by all means, I will now step down from talking and hand this over to Mr. Aguilera. Thank you so very much. You're on mute.
All right, I just noticed that when I looked down. Good evening, everybody. The time is 6:24, and we're going to start the election process. The first position available is president/co-president, and their job or description is to be present at all meetings, to hold quarterly meetings with the school principal as per Chancellor's Regs A660, to encourage meaningful participation amongst all parents, to delegate responsibilities to a member of the association as needed, attend all regular President's Council meetings, to serve as a mandatory member on the SLT, to meet regularly with the executive board, to plan agendas for generalship meetings, serve as an eligible signatory on the checks, and then assist with June transfers of records. Do I have anybody who would like to nominate themselves or anybody else for this position?
I nominate Miss Leah Scott.
I second that nomination.
I second too.
Miss Leah Scott, do you accept?
Yes, I do accept.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll have a co-chair that will help as well, and or a vice president.
Does anybody want to serve as a co-chair with Ms. Scott? Does anybody want to nominate themselves to be president or somebody else? Going once?
Can I nominate Little Miss Robinson by chance, or I guess she's not part of the school?
I'll say it again. Does anybody either want to serve as a co-president or nominate themselves or somebody else for the position?
I'll nominate myself.
For co-chair or
Co-chair.
co-chair? Okay. Do I have anybody else who would either nominate themselves for this position? Going once? Going twice? Okay. Can we make a motion to have Ms. Scott and Mr.
George Jones.
George Jones? Can I have a second for my motion, for the motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll second your
Same.
motion.
What's your name?
Marie-Helene Attwood, current treasurer.
Okay, thank you. All right. So we are going to move, oh, congratulations on your new co-positions as president.
Just one thing, do we want to, I know that we've already been nominated, and thank you very much, everyone. Do you want us to go and just do quick introductions? Or
You guys
are we
say a little
good?
something. You guys can say a little something.
Okay, Mr. Jones, please, I'll let you go first.
Hey, thank you. I was a part of the SLT for this year, and I had a lot of fun. So I'm hoping to look forward to doing new things.
Scott, would you like to say something?
Yes, hi, my name is Leah Scott. Thanks to SLT members as well as the executive board, we have brought in not only a different way of trying to get parents on board as well as the teachers. We have a teacher's corner now that we ensure that teachers are brought on board with our PTA. We have now a online donation site that we work very hard on. We also created or updated our bylaws this year. And I feel like we did one more thing. Oh, and we changed over to a new banking account that no longer charges us on a monthly basis. So I want to thank everyone that we did such powerful things this year. And I'm looking forward to some new ideas that we're going to be already discussing that we'll be bringing on board starting in September. So we have a lot of planning between now and then. So thank you. And I look forward to it. Mr. Jones, we are going to be very busy. All right, go ahead.
Okay. We are now opening up the floor for.
I'm just gonna, Mr. Aguilar, I'm just gonna jump in. I'm gonna put down at 6:30 that Ms. Scott is president and Mr. Jones is co-chair president. Is that good?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Now we are opening up the floor for recording secretary. The duties of the recording secretary are as followed. Record all minutes of the association's meeting, prepare agenda, sign-in sheets, materials for distribution, electric or hard copy, prepare and read minutes at the association meeting, making copies, approving, duplicate copies of minutes and reviewing for approval by general membership, maintain custody of a association's records on school premises or electric, serve as a signatory on the PTA's bank account. I'm sorry, okay. Assist with June transfers of records as well. Do I have anybody who would like to either nominate themselves or somebody else for this position?
I nominate Miss Maggie Sandor for recording secretary, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I just went blank. I am so sorry. Yes, recording secretary, Miss Maggie Sandor.
Miss Maggie Sanders, do you accept?
Yes, I accept.
We still need a second, even though
I
Mhm.
second.
When you second, can you please state your name so that it'll be easier for our note-taking purposes?
I
Thank you.
can second. I'm Crystal Brown.
Okay. Does anybody else want to nominate themselves or anybody else for this position? There is a co-treasurer position available. Sorry, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's not.
Yes, there is a secretary.
I don't see that on here.
It's
On the bylaws that I have.
correspondent secretary and recording secretary. I think in the bylaws, it's written that it gets split that ways if there's two.
I don't see that on this one. I see co-presidents, co-vice presidents, recording secretary, and co-treasurer. I can share my screen to show you. So we have co-presidents right here. Vice president. And recording secretary is only recording secretary. And then treasurer.
Can you scroll? I think it's non-mandatory officers and then I know it's somewhere. Non-mandatory, there it is. Non-mandatory officers may include but are not limited to corresponding secretary.
Just me and him. On Avenue H called.
I don't know.
You're talking about the,
I
As
think
a
where it
note?
says number 5 there, Mr.
Yes.
Aguilar, up at the top, there's like a footnote.
scroll, yeah,
Yeah, if
scroll
you
down a little,
bit,
stop.
right there.
Yep,
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Correspondent. That would be a different position though. That would be correspondent then.
okay.
Okay.
So that will be another election thing that we would like to put on.
That's fine. What you can do, you can edit the bylaws just to put co and it'll be easier for next year if you please.
Okay.
Right.
Just real quick, Miss Medina is asking for a second. I just want to get clarity if she's asking to be
That was
put
for
in.
recording secretary for Miss
She-
Maggie Sandor.
She was seconding the motion.
Oh,
Same that Miss Brown
my
did.
apologies. She seconded the
problem.
emotion. I
Yeah.
thought she wanted to help you. I'm sorry, Miss Sander.
No problem.
Okay, so it was motioned and it was seconded by,
Miss Leticia Medina.
okay. Would you like to say anything?
Just that I was treasurer, I keep saying treasurer, secretary this year, and I enjoyed getting to know the community of Lincoln and some of the other parents, and we worked very hard on updating the bylaws, which apparently still need some work, but we'll get on that, and I look forward to, making some more progress on some of the projects that we had discussed. So, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so that will close the nomination for recording secretary and open the floor for treasurer. The treasurer's duties are as follow. They're responsible for all financial affairs and funds of the association, maintain updated records of all incoming and expenditures on school premises, serve as one of the signatories on the check, prepare and present the reports at each general membership meeting, prepare the interim and annual financial reports, make available all books of financial records for viewing upon members' request, and assist with June transfers of records. Do I have anybody who would like to nominate themselves or anybody else for the treasurer / co-treasurer position?
Hi, this is Marie-Helene Attwood, and I'd like to nominate Mr. Chris Sandor for the position of treasurer.
I second that. That's Leah Scott, current and future president.
That was
Okay.
fast. That was a quick second there, Miss.
I'm gonna start it for next year. Don't, for next.
Chris, do you accept?
Yes, I accept the nomination for treasurer.
Okay, and then we had a motion and it was seconded. So it was motion by Ms. Scott and then it was seconded by who again?
Motioned by Ms. Attwood and second by Ms. Scott.
Okay. Even better. Perfect. Okay. Does anybody want to nominate themselves or anybody else for this position or be a co-treasurer?
Please note that it is very, very important that we have a co-treasurer. This position cannot be done alone. So I'm actually going to ask and plead, if possible, Ms. Jones. I would like to nominate Ms. Jones for the co-chair position of treasurer.
Ms. Jones, do you accept the co-treasurer position?
Give her a moment.
Sorry. Oh gosh. No, at this moment, no. Sorry.
Nice try there, right?
Okay.
Is there anyone that is in 9th, 10th, 11th grade? The only reason I'm not saying 12th is because in September, you guys won't be there. If there's anyone that can please help with co-treasurer, it is, it's more of a checks and balances to have the assistance so that it's not just one person.
Anybody?
If not, then we wait until September, I guess.
I think
That's true. We will.
I think I
open-
will make
well,
I will make a promise. This is Mrs. Attwood again. I'll make a promise that in September we're gonna have another call. Maybe some 9th grade parents or parents who aren't here tonight will want to become co-treasurer. And if no one is interested by September, October, I will go and come back and assist Mr. Sandor.
So
Because I agree, it's a very difficult position to have by oneself.
So there are not supposed to be another election. This is the only election for that year unless somebody resigns.
So the only way that this would work would be if Ms. Attwood nominates herself and let's say in September she can't fulfill it, let's say she has to step down, then we can have another election for that position. Is that how that can work, Mr. Aguilar?
Yes, it's either that or Mr. Chris can run by himself. Or stand by himself. Yes.
So then I will say that I would like to nominate Ms. Attwood to be co-treasurer with the hope that she can fulfill it and hope that she can do it in September.
Ms. Attwood, do you accept the position?
I actually will second that in hopes that she will fulfill Mr. Sandor or whoever is going to be primary will do the most legwork. And then Ms. Attwood, if she stays on, can just do the checks and balances to make sure that person, Mr. Sandor, is staying in line.
Well, that's going to be an easy job then. I accept. Thank you. This job is stickier than chewing gum. I really thought that was true, but
but as you know, if things change and it gets a little too much, like Mr. Aguilera says, if you decide in September to step down, then we will be able to hold an election again for that position and for any position besides the step down.
I I would like for the whole board to keep that in mind, that if someone expresses interest in joining the board in September, October, like one of the new parents, that I would gladly yield my position. But I'll do the job and second Mrs. Sandor until then. Thank you.
Okay.
Told you you were important, Miss Attwood.
So anyone else, or we can motion that Miss Attwood?
I'll ask one more time and then we can close it.
Okay.
Is there anybody else who would like to run for the treasurer position? Going once.
Is out on bond, but is scheduled to be back in court.
Twice. Okay. Would you like to say something before we make the motion? Quick hands.
I mean, say something relative to what we're talking about, or just general statements?
To the position, why you want to take the position.
Oh, to the position. Oh, thank you. Very simply, I'm a parent of a ninth grade student. I am an eligible employee. I work for the Central Department of Education, and I've had a number of finance positions in the past. So finance, budget related,
Okay.
MBA, other fun stuff.
Would you like to say something?
Yes, I was very, very pleased with what we achieved last year. Getting a free checking account was great. I'm really happy about this plan to support the teachers through supporting students by giving awards and recognizing Lincoln values of grit and resilience. I think that's kind of wonderful. It is my hope that we can continue next year and make the PTA better and keep progressing. And I will certainly assist in any way that I can to do that.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to make the co-presidents, Mr. Chris and Miss, sorry, it's slipping my mind.
Miss Attwood, you mean treasurer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes. Treasurer.
You said president, but it's treasurer.
Yeah, treasurer, sorry, my bad.
Mrs. Sandor and Ms. Attwood.
I'm not taking that position, that's for sure.
No, I'm definitely not doing that either.
Do I have a motion?
Motion. Sorry.
Motion.
Yes.
Okay.
We
Okay, and
accept.
a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations on your new treasurer position. I can't speak today. Co-treasurer position.
I just want to make one note, and Ms. Capizzo and I may need to go back and double check. When it came to secretary, it was Miss Brown that made a verbal, that made the verbal second. And it was Miss Medina that had written it in the chat. So we'll probably, I don't know how important that is as to who did second first, but if we could just double check that in the recording, Mr. Capizzo, today, tomorrow, when it's done, I'll forward you the link so we can review it.
No problem.
So we are closing the floor for treasurer and opening it for vice president / co-vice president. The duties are as followed. Assist the co-presidents. Well, I was trying to basically assist with any duties of the president. Can be one of the signatories on the check if required. Assist with June transfers of records, and in the case of the president resigning, you have succession to
Everything.
do I have anybody who would like to nominate themselves or anybody else for this position?
And this is for vice president, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I do.
I would like to nominate Ms. Crystal Brown.
You can have it.
Miss Brown, do you accept?
I second.
Yes, now.
Okay, then was that Miss Scott who second?
Yes, I hit mute before I could say my name. My apologies.
We need a motion first and then a second.
I will motion for Ms. Brown to become vice president for the coming year, and this is Mrs. Attwood.
Okay, so we got a motion and we have a second.
And who nominated Miss Brown?
That was Maggie Sandor who nominated her.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody, I didn't ask if anybody wanted to be a sorry. Did anybody want to be a co-vice president? Going once? Going twice? Sold. Congratulations. Miss Brown, would you like to say anything?
Thank you. This will be my second year with Lincoln as the VP. I learned a lot. And I'm here for it. I think we'll do very well with the PTA this year. There's a lot of different things like were implemented, like Ms. Scott said about the parent, the cheddar is great and so forth. I think, we'll keep going and we'll keep riding. So thank you.
Thank you. We are now closing the floor for vice president and opening it for corresponding secretary. I'm just going to read the description of secretary because it's an assistant, so you would be assisting the secretary with recording of all minutes, preparing agendas, signing sheets, and then distributing any materials, making copies of minutes and getting approved by general membership, maintaining custody of recordings, serve as a signatory on the PTA bank's account, and then assist with June transfers of records. Do I have anybody who would like to nominate themselves or anybody else for corresponding secretary?
I see someone in the chat saying LS0071 saying yes. Oh no, that's to me. Never mind. So corresponding. Sorry, my bad. My apologies. Go ahead.
Okay.
I would like, if at all possible, to nominate Ms. Meadows for corresponding secretary.
I'm gonna avenge you. Ms. Meadows, do you accept? What was that?
I really don't have the time because I work late to attend the meetings and everything that I may have to be to. So I have to decline. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Meadows. Do I have anybody else who would like to nominate themselves or anybody else for the corresponding secretary position?
I'd like to nominate Ms. Is that Ms. Medina on here?
I am here, yes. Oh my goodness.
Can you repeat the name again?
Corresponding secretary?
No, the name that you nominated.
Miss Medina, this is Crystal Brown.
I second that.
You accept.
So Miss Medina, do you accept?
I have to think about it for like a second. I have
Note that you will be the alternate if she needs help.
I definitely
file paperwork of anything that she may need. It's really a helper.
You are.
I get it. And my sister has been doing an amazing job. Oh my goodness, it's just my. Well, I was thinking, if you ask me again next year, but. Whew, okay.
We're not promised next year. We don't know.
I'm making a note. I'm making a note for next year.
Oh my goodness. Hold on.
You do know
I have a lot of
like with Miss Attwood.
I mean, it was great working with everybody in the bylaws committee. All right, I accept what I'm getting myself into, but yes.
Now just remember,
you ain't missing much. No, it's okay.
Just remember, if come September, because we'll be training, you can step down and the position will reopen in September. just as Miss Atwood.
Sure.
If she
I
decides to
hopefully I
go
won't
down.
need to do that, but
Yeah,
we'll
Yeah, I
see.
doubt the two
We'll
people
check in
step
again.
down. Sorry. Okay.
You won't need to step down.
I would like to make a motion for Ms. Medina to become the co-recording secretary. This is Marie-Helene Attwood.
Sorry, I should take this. I was playing around with the virtual backgrounds. Give me 1 second. So I said it would probably be good for you guys to see me once in a while on camera. So hello, everybody.
I
Okay,
second that
Beautiful
motion.
background.
This is
Perfect.
Maggie Sandor.
Thank you, Maggie, for the second. Would you like to say something, Ms. Medina?
Sure. So this is my son transitioned right before the pandemic. So I've been trying to get involved in the school as much as I can and just attend the meetings as much as I can. I think I've only missed one so far this year. And it just so happens that whenever there are PTA meetings, that have like so many other things going on that day. But I'm looking forward to helping the PTA grow, whether it be in person, hopefully for the students and for everybody, for the teachers, I'm sure, especially as well. Continue to grow and make the PTA better and the school as a whole.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so just want to double check real quick, okay? So Miss Brown, you nominated Miss Medina. Okay, Miss Medina, you
We
accepted.
lost your voice. Can you start that again?
Yes, I'll apologize. Okay, so I heard, so Miss Brown, you nominated Miss Medina, okay? Miss Medina, you accepted, and I'm put down that Miss Sandor, you second that. Is that all good and clear? Even though Miss Scott, you second that way before she even accepted it. So I'm gonna take that as the movement, okay?
And the motion?
All
Who
right,
made the motion?
make a motion.
Who made the
I
motion?
made the motion, Mrs.
You made the
Attwood.
motion, Miss Atwood, okay,
Yeah.
okay, very good.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, so
Thank
we are
you.
now closing the floor for corresponding secretary. That is it for all the PTA positions.
Before we move on to SLT, can we say one more time, everyone that has been elected? And thank you, everyone. And even those who turned it down, don't worry, I will find you guys next year to help out with other positions. And just because you're not part of the executive board does not mean that you can't help us in other spots. So we'll be reaching out to you guys on other things.
So
Mr.
do
Capizzo,
you want me to
please?
read to you all what we have so far?
Yes,
Is that
for
good?
all positions, please.
All right, so all positions. So at this time, Ms. Scott, you are president. Mr. Jones is co-president. We have, for recording secretary, we have Ms. Sandor. Okay, for treasurer, we have Mr. Sandor. And we have, for co-chair, we have Ms. Atwood. And for, let me keep going, got to go through everything. For vice president, I have Miss Brown. Okay, and then for corresponding secretary, I have Miss Medina. Okay, I had to go through a lot of times there. Okay, so, and I'll write those out, all of the positions in the time at 6:54. Okay.
Are you ready to move on to SLT?
Yes.
Okay, so at this
Yes,
time,
please.
we have one position for the SLT available. The SLT member helps with the CEP, which is the Comprehensive Educational Plan of the school, and revises that with consensus of the other staff and parents of the SLT board. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. You would go to most likely monthly meetings where you would discuss the CEP. Does anybody want to nominate themselves or anybody else for this position?
May I also sweeten the pot a little bit with SLT?
Sure.
3 of our members on the SLT were actually nominated to take restorative justice training. That was myself, Ms. Crystal Brown, and Ms. Marie-Helene Attwood. We started taking, 2 of us started taking the training last year, and this year we were renominated again to take the restorative justice training. There's also additional trainings and meetings that help not just for the SLT understanding, but also as a parent. That is, though it's out there, the SLT kind of gets first glimpse of what training and meetings are out there. It's also a great partnership and networking, and you get to go and have a better understanding of how the school operates on the administrative side of the house, and not just as the parent side of the house, because sometimes what we see as a parent, you don't quite understand unless you're in the SLT spot, and you get to have a one-on-one with the principal, which is great, because he'll sit there and we're the voice of the parents, and we get to sit there and he takes the time to listen to us as a whole. Because when we speak for everyone, which is why we always ask for questions from everyone, because we want to make sure that everyone's concerns are answered. And one of the things that came out of it as a group was the Lincoln log, where he'll make sure that he provides more monthly or bi-monthly information. So that's one positive thing that came out of our SLT meetings.
Okay, do we have anybody who would like to nominate themselves or anybody else for this position?
Hi, my name is Lakeya Jones. I would like to nominate myself.
Okay, thank you.
I
Lakeya.
second.
Is there anybody else who would like to run for this position? Going once, going twice.
Did you say that this meeting is every month? And what time are the meetings?
I don't know that.
It is every Wednesday.
It's
I'm sorry, go ahead,
it's
Mr.
usually the
Capizzo.
3rd Wednesday of the month around that time.
And what
They
time?
start, I think they start at 5:30, is that correct?
Yeah, it's
Yes,
5 at this.
5:30.
Traditionally, PTA, how we used to do it when we were in person, it was 1 hour before PTA. That's how we used to run it. Of course, COVID has changed around those circumstances at this time. But that's when usually it's run. It's usually run around the same week that PTA happens, but we made the change this year to do it 1 week before or 1 week after PTA. So that's usually when it happens. And usually these meetings are about an hour to an hour and a half, could be 2 hours on a good day. But that's usually what it is.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so no other people, so can I have a motion?
I motion, Miss Leah Scott.
I second the motion, Maggie Sandor.
Perfect. Thank you. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything on your behalf?
Thank you, everyone, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, and that wraps up.
Just to ask Lakeisha, how do you spell your first name?
Lakeya.
Lakeya, got it. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Congratulations for the new executive board and SLT. And I will hand it back over to Ms. Ka.
Congratulations, everyone. We did an amazing job this past year, and we're definitely going to have an amazing job this year. I can tell you that at first it seems very scary and overwhelming for those who came on this year, but I can assure you we work as a team. We'll even pull in parents that aren't part of the executive board, as many of you have already witnessed, and we'll even have some teachers, thank you, Mr. Capizzo, Ms. Mohamed, and definitely Mr. Robinson for coming in and helping out. I will be forwarding emails to you guys all on when our meetings will be held. And we'll have a nice meet and greet in the next couple of days to discuss things. So if that's it for the elections, we'll now move on to questions and answers. But before Ms. Aguilera steps off, does anyone have any particular questions for him? Perhaps maybe Mr. Aguilera, you can discuss what the whole purpose of your positioning is and what is FACE. You're on
Muted.
mute again.
I don't know why I'm doing that. What's going on with me today? I don't know. So yes, I do work for FACE. It's Family and Community Engagement Empowerment. Excuse me. We changed our name so many times. So we are here to empower the parents, to support them in any way they need when it comes to PTA, President's Council, and SLT. I support with elections, as we can see, or anything that there may be discrepancies on, or if you do not understand nothing. Our office is the gatekeeper of A660 and A655, which is the SLT regulation and the PTA President's Council regulation. So we edit those when we see fit. And we do hold monthly trainings. So the next one will be next month, I believe around the 10th to the 15th. And that one will be on preparing for next year in the summertime. So what can you do to prepare for next year? And then in June, we will have a transfer of record workshop. And that will be around the 10 to like 20, hopefully beginning of June. So that's pretty much what we do. I am in charge of 4 districts, so 14, 16, 18, and 21. So I help everywhere from elementary school to high school PTAs, President's Councils, and SLTs. And that's pretty much the gist of what I do. If you have any questions.
Just
Okay.
switch me over to host before you step off.
Yep.
And if anybody has any questions, if not, then we're gonna move on. Any questions for Mr. Aguilera? If not, then we'll go to straight Q&A for the school. And if Mr. Robinson has anything particular to say, or Mr. Capizzo, Ms. Mohamed have anything particular to say for the school. Thank you very much,
I have a
Mr.
question.
Aguilera. Yes, please
I
go
have a
ahead.
question. So is the SLT something that you can join throughout the year, being that additional members can, is needed? You have to, don't you have to have a certain amount of parents that's not part of the executive board be part of the SLT? I know I used to be on the SLT, and you can't have like parents just come in and attend the meetings without being part of the executive board. I don't know if that's still going on. When my daughter was in elementary, I was part of her school's SLT, and it was that way at that time. She's now in college, so I don't know if things could change. But is that something, like if I just wanted to attend, would I be able to attend, but I couldn't vote on anything? Does that still stand? Because I may be able to come in a couple of times, but right now it's things, I can't say I want to be part of the SLT or PTA because of that. Like I said, I work late, but I may have sometimes that I'm able to attend, and I wanted to have that option if so.
Yes, most definitely. Because it's virtual at the moment, you have, well, even if it was in person, you would ask and we would then send you the invitation to those particular meetings. Even with the executive board, if you want, you can ask any one of the executive board members and we would invite you to our executive board meetings. Same thing for SLT. If you would like, you can send the Abraham Lincoln PTA an email and let them know that you would like to attend any one of the meetings. We'll make sure that the meeting dates are sent out. Ms. Sander, if you can just make that as a note, we'll annotate what the next few dates are that we have left. And if you're interested, send us an email and we will make sure that, and we'll also put it on Facebook. We'll make sure that that information is then emailed out to you. But we don't make it we don't send the link as a blast because it's virtual and we don't want just anyone coming in.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. I think our next meeting for SLT is next Wednesday.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah,
Third
so if-
Wednesday, I believe it's Wednesday.
Yeah, so if you want to just sit on it next week, by all means, just send us a quick email and we'll, to anybody, we'll
I
definitely
could check
send you
my
the
notes
invite.
on that because I wrote the minutes.
Thank you.
I have it on the PTA calendar as the 22nd,
Yes, that's right.
Thursday.
Yes, that's next Thursday. I
Thursday.
believe. Yeah, next Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Can you let her know the time? What time again?
Yeah, 5:30. It's
5:30.
yeah, 5:30.
For those on here, if you can, even if you're interested now, if you can send Ms. Sander a private message of your emails, we'll make sure that we send it out. I would write down your names, but you all have your last 4 digits of your child's code, so I can't figure out who's who. I apologize for that. Anyone else have any questions in general? Mr. Robinson, is there anything you want to share with us? Is there anything going on with sports maybe that we have great things to know about?
Sure, I can share a few things, sports included.
For those,
Sports-
can you also introduce who you are? Some people may not remember.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. I apologize for not turning my video on. I was kicked out of my workspace. But my name is David Robinson. I'm assistant principal of guidance in the 9th grade. On the sports front, we have started practicing and organizing the teams. So any student who's interested in sports can go to the Abraham Lincoln team. It's our home team for the school. And that's where all the different teams that are getting up and running are have posted messages for students, and students are responding, yeah, I'm interested. And then that gets them in contact with the coach. The coach will let them know next steps. So I know we have a softball, we have football, we have track, and a few others if students want to go on to the team to find out.
So all sports will be on then. It's not, I know at one point they were limiting whether or not like football or something similar would be held back.
We have a little bit more limited offering for sports this year. Usually we offer like 26 sports. I know we're not offering 26 sports, but we are offering our major ones.
And that changes week to week if I heard correctly. So what list you may have today may change next week to be adding a few more.
That's correct. It is growing at this time. It's growing. So I know we have football, softball, track and field up and running, and we might have 1 or 2 others that students should look at ALHS teams, the home channel there, and they'll find all the postings for the sports.
And when you say teams, you mean MS
Microsoft Teams, yes.
Okay, which only the students have access to.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Sander has a question.
Yeah, are they, is there a different differentiation between fall, winter, and spring sports, or are all of them running concurrently?
I think we're gonna have to put something up on the web page about our sports offering. I'm familiar with it, so I can speak on it a little bit, but I don't have all the answers. So I know they're offering some fall sports now. I think it's really up to schools as to where the demand is. So we're offering our highest demand sports. And then I believe it's also going to be a negotiation between schools as far as inter-school competitions and what that's going to look like. So that hasn't been finalized yet. What has been finalized is that sports have started gathering and have started practicing.
And when I looked on the PSLA website, and maybe Ms. Brown would know more, you need to have a COVID I forgot the correct terminology, but it's like a COVID medical documentation, the medical form that is signed by the doctor, which is about 4 pages long, as well as a parent consent form. And all that is pulled from the PSLA website. Is that correct?
PSAL.
Thank you, PSAL.
Yeah, it's the same as every year, except for the additional COVID testing consent.
COVID.
So even if a student is remote, they can sign up for after school activity like sports, so long as they have the COVID testing consent done.
Can that be posted on the news channel of going on to PSAL?
Yeah, well,
Website for that information? Because I know it's on Teams, I get it, but
There
parents
is
may want that.
I just actually looked, there's a link from the Lincoln website. If you look in the athletics, it goes right to the PSAL website that has all of, well, I don't know if it's all, but I mean, if it's updated, but it has a listing of what's active at Lincoln right now, including information like they've dropped the swimming on 4/14/21, for instance. I don't really know what that means. Is that just for this year, or like, I don't know what that means. There's certain sports that have this dropped.
Yes, I know swimming is not happening this year. I just spoke to a student today who was telling me that was dropped this year.
So does that mean, do we know is that like forever, or is it just for this year because of COVID, do we think, or?
I believe it's just for this year. I spoke to a student. I spoke to a student today about it because I knew she was on the swim team, and the first thing she told me was, yeah, because of COVID this year, it's not open.
So can we have that kind of linked more into the news? Because that's great that to go in and look through athletics. But like, I'm looking on my phone and I have a very hard time trying to go through Abraham Lincoln's website. So maybe later in the week or next week, can we have a notice at least referring to that?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get all this information confirmed, because I do think we're offering more than just those 3 sports. So I'll get all the sports up there for parents to see, as well as good contact information on there.
And it doesn't have to be revamp of what's already on the athletic page, but just say, hey, if you want details of something that's always changing, click on this link, and then it goes to the athletics page, which I'm sure gets updated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then I also wanted to share, we did get guidance from the city as to when we're going to welcome back our students who opted into in-person learning. They're going to be welcomed back on the 26th. So we had 104 students opt back in to in-person learning, which we're very excited about to see them. They'll see the changes on their programs by this Friday, just so they know what to expect. But they can't start in the building until the 26th, Monday the 26th. We also had the SATs this past Tuesday. Those were very successful. We had about 200 students take the SATs, which is pretty good for just our 11th grade class. And the other update I wanted to give was just to confirm that we are testing randomly once a week at Lincoln. And that's to ensure everybody's safety. And our tests recently have confirmed 1 positive here and there. So whenever there's a confirmed positive, we post it on our website, and we phone blast, email blast, and send a remind. So if you're not getting phone blast, email blast, or remind, contact me or Ms. Mohamed with an updated contact number so we can add you. And that's all I had to share.
All right, I actually have 3 questions.
Great.
When it comes to the kids coming back, I know we had a certain number a few weeks ago, and then not everyone had signed the consent form. With everyone that's in the school now that signed the consent form, was there an increase or a decrease? I believe when we spoke last, it was like a 5, even though you got everyone in, it was still a 5% decrease from a month ago.
Yeah, so at the same time that we are welcoming opt-in students back, the city also mandated the COVID consent testing for every in-person student. And some families did not want to consent to testing and are moving to remote. And we had some other students who weren't really coming in that often to the in-person, even though they were signed up for it. And we were able to move them to make contacts with the families and move them to remote too. So it was about 150 students that went from in-person to remote, but that's not in-person bodies necessarily, because many of those students weren't coming regularly due to the concerns they had or their own choice, basically. So they were kind of on our in-person register, but attending remotely. So we were able to move those remote. So in total, we moved 150 students moved to remote and 104 students moved to in-person.
So what's our percent ratio now for remote and blended? Do you know that off the top of your head by chance?
Percent ratio for remote and blended?
Yeah.
Would be about, I don't know if I could get to a calculator. I could tell you we have about 550 in person. Our total register is 1752. So.
Oh, so we're not even close to a 50-50 then.
No. We're more 70-30, 30 remote
That's
and I mean 30 in person.
31%, 31% blended and 70-something% remote.
69%.
69%.
59, thank you.
69, yeah.
69, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Robinson, I have 2 questions. I don't know if they were asked privately by mistake or the person wants to ask through me, but I got 2 questions for you. One is, will the classes change with the additional 104 students? Are the numbers going to keep the classes under 10 per class? And the second question is, when they do the random testing, do they normally test all the kids in one class, or is it just randomly done in various classes, or both?
Okay, great questions. So the guidance, we're still following the 6-foot guidance as mandated by the city. I know the CDC has put something out that's 3 feet, and I believe elementary schools can follow that guidance, but high schools were dictated to continue the 6-foot guidance. So that's what we're doing. And as we program in-person students, we'll be keeping that 6-foot capacity in the rooms, which is usually around 15 for the average room, 12 for our smaller rooms. So that won't be changing. And the second question was about random testing and if it was just random or the whole class.
Testing, or if it's like basically you test one class at a time, the whole class, or if it's just random, or is there's like a combination of like which a class or various classes?
It's random. The city actually created a function in the automated school system where they'll pull us a random report. So we just pull that random report and we start going down the list until we meet the quota of how many students need to get tested that day.
Thank you. And then I have 2 questions of my own. The first one is, do you think the city will ask for high school students to be vaccinated against COVID to return to school in September?
Well,
and the second question is Nina still the official comfort dog for the Abraham Lincoln High School?
The second question is much easier. Nina's definitely the
Well,
official
I
comfort
tried to make
dog.
them match, you know,
And
the
Nina's
argument
still
depicted.
there. I've seen her.
She's still there. She was just with
I
some
miss Nina.
students in a mental health drop-in with some in-person students today, which was wonderful. The students were very happy to be with her, and she was very happy to be with them. And as far as vaccinations and next year is concerned, I have no information on what next year is going to look like. Yeah, I wish. I mean, I'm sure that
I'm in-
information is going to come through, but honestly,
we have the same questions going on, and I'm sure Mr. Sander can attest to that. We work in the scouting area as volunteers, and that question has come up for summer camps as well. And it's one of those tricky questions. Nobody wants to say yay or nay if it's going to be a mandate.
Right.
Not just for students or people who attend these events, but teachers as well. Because that question has come up, are teachers going to be required? And it's a touchy subject. And nobody wants to say yay or nay unless you're part of the UFT, and that's a whole nother story. But that's still up in the air across the board.
From the Scout perspective, I can also say that right now there is no approved vaccine for children under the age of 16 anyway, which also complicates things for the school and for other volunteer groups as well.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see.
I think it'll be just
Thank
like
you.
last year, where we don't find out things till about August time frame, where everything just changed at the last minute and the poor schools running around trying to get things done.
Well, for your benefit, I think if it follows that time frame, you all will have official confirmation as parents before the school does.
Yes,
Mr. Robinson, someone mentioned it in the chat, and I'm sure you can speak to it more than I can because I know the answer, but maybe you can answer it. What's the story with the June Regents? Any word on any changes with that, or is it still scheduled right now?
And then the second question was in reference to summarizing.
Okay, the June Regents is scheduled for the 4 Regents exams. It's algebra, living environment, earth science, and the other one I'm gonna have to
ELA.
And ELA. And I haven't got the official document yet, but I have gotten the official word to share with you what I'm sharing with you. And as soon as we get the official document, that's when you're going to see, a post on the website that lays everything out. So I'm not breaking any news. This is all official news that's already been shared already, but they just haven't put out the formal guidance for schools. But the Regents, those 4 Regents are running in June. You can Google the June Regent schedule and that'll come up, and students will have the option to take the test, the option to take it. And if you're in person or remote, you will have that option. The policy is going to be pretty much the exact same policy it has been, whereas if you pass the courses that led to the Regents, then you'll get that Regents waived, whether you take the Regents or not. In addition to that, if you choose to take the Regents, you can then choose to have that grade waived. Let's say you get a 72 and you're not happy with the 72 and you prefer just the waived showing up on your transcript, then you can make that choice, similarly to the way families can choose to make a grade appear as a CR. You can make a Regents grade appear as a WA. So we will be offering those 4 Regents, and that's the information we have so far about how it's going to be administered.
When you say waive, this is Leah Scott. When you say waive, you're saying the same thing as last year, where they'll get the credit of 65? Because that's
they
the
get
way
the
it was
credit.
explained to me for my child.
So they get the credit. I wouldn't say it equates to a 65. It just equates as like a waived grade. So it equates to a credit because
Credit as in a regent's credit. Not
exactly,
just, they'll
exactly.
pass the class if they pass the, say that they've gotten the approval to pass the class. So they'll pass the class, whatever the grade. And if they decide to opt out of taking the regents, they'll get regents credit that will be used towards their regents diploma if they choose to go that route.
That's correct. And the
Okay.
credit, why I say it's not a 65 is because grades do determine eligibility for honors and advanced honors. And for example, to get a diploma, a regent diploma with honors, you need to average an 85 on your regent scores. So if you have a waived exam and all your other scores average at 85, that would be counted. Or let's say you have a waived exam and you have all the other, I mean, technically you could have everything waived, which is not possible under this scenario because we haven't been able to waive all those exams. But let's say you have, let's say on the seven regents you need for an advanced diploma, you earned 5 waived and 2 85s, that would make you eligible for the advanced regent diploma because they're just counted as credits. They're not counted as a grade. Does that make sense?
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yes.
I'm a little bit less confused than I was before.
Now, will the other regions be waived and a credit given like last year? Would that be the same concept?
The other regions that aren't being offered in person, students will just be the waived based on passing the classes leading up
So
to
like
the
if they're taking like geometry or maybe like history, which is definitely not offered this year, they get the waive for that, correct?
So long as they pass the classes, yeah.
So long as they pass the class, right?
And AP testing is still a go.
AP testing is still a go, yes.
Okay.
And that's not an opt-out.
No, that's not an opt-out. You want to take a shot at the AP test so you can earn a grade that would give you college credit.
No, I agree 100%. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Yes, yeah, that's a good question.
Mr. Robinson, I haven't really had a chance to tell you this, but I wanted to let you know that I'm part of the planning committee with the COVID, Lincoln after COVID. And one of the things that I pitched to them was about how we can get teachers more involved with the PTA. So I'm working with Mr. Gannon about doing a workshop during one of our sessions in May. And I'm working alongside with Ms. Scott on it. And I'm going to be talking to Wayne next week about it. And I want to pull you in on it as well. So then we can all talk about like how to get teachers and parents all working together with PTA with Lincoln after COVID.
That's wonderful. That's a credit to you, Mr. Capizzo, and the credit to the PTA for being so relevant that we want to improve the partnership on both sides. So that's just wonderful.
Perfect. Yeah, and I can follow up with you when we're in person. So
great.
Now, I just have one more question. I know there's random testing and we already do weekly testing. I'm confused on additional testing. Does that mean the school will be additionally tested twice a week if there is a confirmed case? I didn't understand what the increased testing would be if we're already doing it on a weekly basis.
Right, so it would still be weekly testing. What would happen is right now we test 20% of those who are in the building, and if the COVID command center bumps us up, I believe if it's 2 positive cases that we get in the testing scenario that are unrelated, then they increase that testing number to 40% of in-person staff and students.
Okay, so it's a percentage, not multiple days. in the
That's
same.
correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
And there's one more question on the chat. Is there any info on Summer Rising, and is Abraham Lincoln High School part of it?
And with Summer Rising, that's the same thing as
Summer Rising is that program that it's like
like
school
summer
is just not
school,
popular,
but
so
changed to make it
no
sound
plus.
prettier.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sexy summer school. That's right. But
Yes.
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I like
there was
that
some
term for it.
input that was sent out that was confused us the other day. So hopefully you can clarify it for everybody else, please.
Yeah, Summer Rising. They're still putting together the details of it. I've only heard, I guess, like the sexy hype about it, which I'm sure there's good reason to hype it up. I know we're going to have increased funds this summer to help with any NX students. Also, it's going to be eligible to all students. Usually we target just those who are behind on credits, but we're going to have some funds to do some enrichment activities, which should be exciting. And I'm looking forward to it. Last year in summer school, we were still trying to, figure this whole thing out. So I think the chancellor and the mayor go in the right direction to put some more resources towards summer school and utilize it. But we don't have the specific guidance on what exactly it's going to look like yet.
Okay.
Will students be allowed to take classes and get credit towards next year? That just popped up in the chat.
Yes.
Will it only be special?
And every student?
Go ahead.
No, every student is eligible this year, right? Mr. Robinson, is that what you
Yes.
said? Like any student can register for Summer Rising and have the enrichment, take classes, either to get credit or to get extra credit that will count for next year.
Yes, that was a change actually that happened 2 years ago where a student could get a credit during summer school. Before it was just makeup, but the budget was so limited, most summer schools could only focus on students making up credits, really focus on those who really need summer school. But this year, the message is from the chancellor that it's going to expand, and we're going to offer not just have the ability and the confirmation from academic policy that we can do it, but actually the funds and some ideas like field trips and different things like that. So students can earn credit even if they are on track if they attend.
Do we have a graduation date? And what's the capacity? Sorry.
No, I tried to think, because I believe we have a tentative graduation date. I believe it's posted on our calendar, but we're still working on the details of it, because we still can't have more than 500 people at it, and we still have to social distance for 6 feet, and we have a graduating class of around 350 students. So we are determined to definitely, absolutely have a wonderful graduation for our well-deserving seniors, but just how we're going to manage that, we haven't figured out all the details yet.
Can you have a PTA representative listen in to the planning to assist if at all possible?
Yeah, I don't see why not. That would be wonderful.
I'm checking the calendar, Mr. Robinson. It looks like it says on the website, it's the 24th of June, which is interesting because on June 24th, it is the Earth Science Regents as well that day. So I'm sure that it's going to be a very busy day that day at Lincoln. But I'm just showing what it shows on our side for when I check the calendar.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So therefore, with Regions still happening, there won't be school during that Regions week. So there will be an official last day early in June then.
That is a great question. I would love to know the answer to that. We haven't gotten complete
Actually,
guidance on yet.
The calendar that's posted on the website has June 14th as the last day of classes. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's what's on the school website.
That was
Yes,
like that last year, and then we ended up going straight through until the last day of school.
That's right. And
So that's why I was asking if that changed.
yes, and just like last year, that's what's on the DOE calendar. So that's what's on our calendar. However, last year we were notified.
So
I
we're
think
looking
within a
at not
couple
knowing
weeks before
until-
that happened that we're just continuing. And so
Okay.
you can expect that as soon as we know that answer, we'll share that.
So worst
with
case, we
parents.
won't know until June for
Right.
sure. No, I'm being honest because you want to make sure that people don't start planning things and then they end up having to readjust because their kids have to come in.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm sure,
I'm
Mr.
learning.
Robinson, as soon as we get guidance, any remote kids who want to take the Regents, I guess we'll also send that out, how they can, I guess, sign up for it as well, right? So all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm assuming there's no prom or senior trip this year as well.
Trips are still not allowed by the DOE, and senior prom is also not allowed.
Oh, it's the.
Okay, and there's no determination of a possible, it sounds ridiculous, but I've seen it upstate, virtual proms?
Virtual prom is a great idea. I can pass that on to our senior committee.
And are we looking at, I'm assuming not this year, but maybe next year, bringing back all the seniors to have a little hoopla and thank you, like we did, like Mr. Hogaboom was stating he wanted to do with the graduation class of 2020?
Um,
Hold on.
Because graduating class of 2020 got nothing. Except a little, hey, drive by. And I know
Yeah,
he said he wanted to maybe, if at all possible, in the year or two later, to try to bring them all back. So I'm doubting that won't happen this year. So could we plan for something for the following year?
oh, you're talking about for the class of 2020.
2020 and maybe even 2021?
Mm,
Just something
Yeah.
to put in your notes to talk to him about?
yeah,
At
for
least
sure.
definitely for 2020.
Yes. Yeah.
I know he did mention that.
Okay.
And reminds him, myself and Mr. Jones need to meet with him. We're at our quarterly time.
Okay, I will.
Are there more questions for Mr. Robinson or more questions for the executive board or any question at all for teachers?
I have a question. Who runs the Lincoln store?
The Lincoln store, the online store?
Yeah.
I believe that is Miss Trapani. It's a business manager. I believe.
Well, either way, my question was, is everything on there still available, like for sale, even like if certain sports are out, like is everything still available on the Lincoln store or no?
I'm pretty sure whatever is there, if you can buy it, then it's through a partnership with another company. So if you can order it there, then it's available.
Okay, so they would update it if we didn't have certain things or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Why is that so true?
And what's the earliest a student, like in the morning, to sign in? I know we had noticed the other day about the students need to sign in by 8:30. Am I correct? I'm not looking at anything.
It said 8:30, and then in a FNQ questions, it was talking about no later than 12.
Yes. Yeah, our attendance policy is posted online. This is a great question. Thank you for letting me talk about attendance a little bit because it's so important. So what we ask all students to do is to wake up at 8:30, get onto Teams, look through all their teams, mark themselves present in all their teams, and use that time to help plan their day and what assignments they need to complete and when their classes are going live. We close off that part of attendance at 12. So kind of like the same thing as a school, you can come in late, we don't like that, but that's not what we're asking. But if a student were to do that at, let's say 9:15, then they would still get credit for the day. If they did it after 12, there's a good chance that they wouldn't get credit that day. And we've just opened up a new supplemental attendance form that any student can go to and just plug in their name using their Microsoft DOE account, their My Students account, and we'll be able to mark their attendance that way. So we're asking students to do both things because they need to be marked present in their classes, but that form will automatically capture their daily attendance to present.
I can answer that question in the chat. Ms. Medina, Ms. Meadows, you posted. The marking period ends this next Friday, the 23rd. And then I usually, once the marking period ends, we get some time to put in the grades. So it's usually Friday, we usually get them out. So it should be by Friday the 30th. We should have it up on Pupil Path. Mr. Robinson, just to ask a question, are we doing in-person report cards, or we're just keeping it straight, just showing it for Pupil Path for the blended group? Just wanted to ask.
Yeah, there's no in-person report cards. Everything is gonna be done remotely, either through my school's account, which we're trying to get every parent to sign up for. That's the best way to do it. Or through Pupil Path. You can see your report card right there too.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
And I'm sorry, just to complete what we were saying about the supplemental form, and you were saying that the students need to log on at 8:30 for that, but then the supplemental form is to be done by 2 p.m.
The supplemental form is gonna stay open to capture any attendance that we might have missed. So that'll actually stay open, and it'll take us 2 business days to update attendance if we're just using that. So if a student goes in and does all their attendance at 8:30, they'll be marked present right away, and they'll be marked present in all their courses. If we have students in all kinds of situations, maybe they didn't really have an assignment that day, they already knew about that, they want to get marked present for the day, they can fill out that form. And if they do it before 2 o'clock, they'll get marked present that day. If they do it before after 2 o'clock, it'll take 2 business days to update their attendance as present.
What's the reason for adding the supplemental daily attendance form? Or was it already, I thought, I could have swore he was already doing something. Maybe I'm missing something.
Well, our goal was to really get students into their period classes, getting them to take their attendance there. But we kept coming across different individualized student situations where a student was getting marked absent And sometimes it was something that was going on with Teams. Sometimes it was something that was going on with Insight, which is the app that we use in Teams to track data and teachers use to take attendance. And sometimes it was due to the student schedule, like I suggested. So we wanted to give students another alternative to send in their attendance. And we're saying to do both because we still want students logging in at 8:30, making sure they're in their classes. We don't want the supplemental form to be a cop out that a student can just take their attendance on.
Got it. Thank you.
There's a new question on the chat. Will the laptops and the iPads need to be turned in at the end of the school year, or are the students allowed to keep them for the summer and or beyond in case remote is still needed in September?
So as of now, they're going to be able to keep it so long as they're going to continue with Lincoln next year. But that's subject to change by guidance we get from the city.
And there
Was
was a
the
question, I'm not sure if
conference,
you,
I'm
oh,
sorry,
sorry.
was the conference information restated? Because I know Ms. Mohamed answered it, but I don't know if everybody heard it about PTA conferences.
I believe the parent-teacher conferences already happened already. I don't think there'll be another one for the, what do you call it, for this marking period. But if you want to reach out to the parents, to the teachers, you can always email them. You can use through Pupil Path. Then there's even the school's emails as well that you can reach out to them.
Yeah, there's only
What I've found is that in Pupil Path, a lot of teachers don't check or it's not set up properly, and they don't actually answer emails that you send via Pupil Path. But the same teacher will answer right away if I email via the website. So I think maybe people should not use Pupil Path because some teachers' email is not set up properly in there, and they don't even know that you sent them an email, but you wouldn't know that they're not, you don't know why they're not answering. But through the school, you can look on Pupil Path to check the names of your students' teachers. And then you can go to the Abraham Lincoln High School website, and they have all of the emails of all of the teachers and guidance counselors right there. And then you can just email teachers from there.
And also, if you're having trouble reaching out to a teacher, teacher's not responding, please let me know. Email me, CC me, let me know, because if a teacher's not responding, I can try to find out what the issue is. Maybe the teacher doesn't have access to something, or something is going on, so we can get back to the parent. So yeah, so if you're having trouble reaching out to a specific teacher, just email me, or you can even email one of the APs and let them know that this is happening.
AP is assistant principal, right?
Yes, sorry, yes. AP is an assistant principal. Mhm.
All right. When is the current marking period ending?
That's on Friday, the 23rd.
Of April?
Yes.
Like this Friday? Oh, okay, thank you.
Also, that information is on our website on the calendar. It's updated throughout for the whole year.
Mr. Robinson, I was just looking at something interesting. I was looking at the Regents calendar for dates, and they mention on there that, which is a little weird, I've never seen this before. It says that their June 18th, which is known as Juneteenth, is a holiday observed. But it doesn't say on the DOE calendar that it's a holiday observed. It seems a little weird. Never seen that mentioned before.
That was from COVID, no?
No, I was actually informed informally that June 19th will be a holiday, but I have not seen it on the DOE calendar yet as a holiday.
It's the 18th, June 18th.
June 18th.
June
Okay.
18th.
Well, I mean, the holiday is June 19th, but I think it's observed on the 18th this
It's
year because of
observed
the
on
Correct.
calendar.
Okay. That's new information for me.
That just came up last year, that would be the 19th will be the day, but because this year it's on a Saturday, the observed date will be the 18th, but June
Okay.
June 19th will be the official date. I don't know if it's gonna be a federal thing or just the school thing, but it is official.
Okay. I learned something new today.
Any more questions or like any questions, things we didn't answer from the chat?
And remember, we meet with the SLT next week, so if questions come up between now and the 22nd, please email the Abraham Lincoln PTA, and we will make sure that that information is brought up at our meeting. Trust me, we bombard them with 25, 30 questions every month, so no question is ever not answered. And then Ms. Attwood make sure we do suspense dates. All right, with that said, then thank you, Mr. Robinson, Ms. Mohamed. I know that you both had things going on this evening, and I appreciate that you guys stood on. Mr. Capizzo, thank you very much. As always, I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to the great things that we're going to start doing in a few weeks. To everyone else, thank you very, very much. And to all new Executive Board SLT members, we're definitely going to be doing some interesting things even before September comes. So thank you all. Look for some emails from me in the upcoming days, Executive Board as well as SLT. So thank you very much. Everyone have a great night, and we're done. Not even the Executive Board. Go to sleep.
Congratulations,
We won't be having
everybody.
any after meetings.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Everyone
Thank
have a
you.
great night. Thank you again. Good night, everybody. Congratulations. Good night.
All right.
Thank you and congratulations, everybody. Bye.